Hello there! I am Messivior Twochorial, and today I'll teach you how to simply make your own Maid Skins. It's as easy as it looks like. Just take into account that you need some kind of software that will allow you to edit a PNG file without taking off the transparency. Also, you'll need a software such as WinRAR to allow you to make all of those compressed into a zip file. Now, I'll tell you how to do it, my way, with as much details as possible. Firstly, you need to know what's a model and what's a skin, because Minecraft entities use the textures in which the skin is combined with a model to render an entity such as this. The model is a geometry form used in which the skin will render on it. It also contains the animation sometimes, and the skin, however, is the image that the geometry form displays if commanded inside the model's code. So, basically the model is the form, the skin is the texture. Now you need to choose a model type. Every maid has a model type. It is determined by the last name of the folder it uses when it compiled into a class file, or the name of the folder itself. You'll have to choose depending on what the maid looks like. You want a small maid? The default should be fine. You want a tall maid? Then take out the Beverly model for it. You can check the name of a model by looking directly at its files. Here we're looking at the Lady Models files made by Tenshi, the director of this channel. You can go subscribe and leave a comment if you need any more info on this. Anyway, as you can see, there's two separate directories inside the RAR file itself. The assets correspond to the skins and sometimes the sounds, and the libx correspond to the models directory who has been compiled into a class file. However, things are not that simple, because inside those directories there is even more directories. That's because when you're playing the game, the Minecraft mods directories fusion themselves into one single entity or game if you take into account, that is your modded Minecraft. So, they'll keep the pathway between each directories depending on their management. For example, when you look at the base directory of the Little Maid mod assets for the Maid Skins, you'll find directories within directories, right? That's its own pathway to manage their file. And so, your RAR file management must look exactly the same as the original Maid mod management. Thus, you shall keep the same directory every time, even if it ends up stacking directories between themselves, because otherwise it just won't work. Did you get all that? Good. Now for the most important part. You'll find the location of your most important directory inside this pathway. Remember that a pathway is a combination of the directory you go on to access a certain file. For example, here we want access to our skins files. So a pathway inside the RAR file is Assets, Minecraft, Textures, Entity, Little Maid. And here you go. Now you have access to your line of work. See these directories? Those are actually example directories. You'll just have to copy it into your work in progress directory where you do the skin editing. Now let me explain to you some important info for those PNG files, or rather show it to you. Those files are to be respecting the image size on point. You can't change the size of the skin separately, but you can scale it into another number. For example, a skin that uses 16 x 16 pixels can be up into 32 x 32, or 64 x 64, and so on. You want a skin that uses more pixels than your normal everyday maid? Well, fear not, because as long as you keep the skin height and weight difference the same, then you're good to go. Now for the skin editing. I strongly advise you to test out Maid on multiple occasions after each editing to identify each blocks, plates, or any use of skin geometric forms, such as the head, which is normally always a good 8 x 8 pixels cube that you can place some skin on. After doing a bit of editing, your goal will be to make sure that your own directory contains the skin depending on the models and the colors. Your picture PNG file, which is the skin of the maid, must have a first name, whichever you like, and a last hexadecimal name. Those last parts correspond to the multiple options to which the computer will add the maid based on their specifications. For example, the Lady Maid 0C corresponds to 0, meaning it's a normal contract of maid skin, and the C means it's corresponding to the color brown. Here's a chart that I made to tell you how it works. Here's a file that shows you the example of what it should be. And now to compare it in the game's rendering. You got it? Nice! Now to move on the directory in which you put the PNG file in. This one has also a name system. The first part is whatever you want to call it, but the last part is the model you use. So the model I will use for this maid is the same as I took example from, the lady model. Please note that different model can have different pixels value for their PNG pictures. After doing all of this, you should have your directory with your Maid Skins in PNG files inside of it, right? Then, now make a copy of the raw file you used as an example. Get rid of the libs because it doesn't have to do anything with your goals right now. The libs contain the models, but if at least one of the raw file contains the models, such as the original one, then you won't need another libs directory to work with your skin inside the raw file. Then go into the skin pathway, Assets, Minecraft Texture, Entity, Little Maid. Copy your directory inside of it, and delete the other ones inside, because there are mere copy of the file you just copied, so we won't need them at all. And if you've done it correctly, you did it! You made your own Maid Skin! Isn't that great? Now you can be a 3D Maid editor to share your creations. Please note that the technique I just gave you is the same as making a texture pack. Thanks so much for the help of the Little Delicacies Discord who helped me so much with the model management system. If you need any help, they'll be here for you. Don't forget to leave a like if this video helped you. Leave a comment to ask me anything or tell me an opinion of those explanations. And subscribe if you want to see more and more content coming up. Ring that bell if you want to be here anytime this channel uploads anything. Maybe next time I'll tell you how to do the models, who knows? Until then, have fun and be safe.